Welcome to the Steelers by the Lake podcast. My name is James Strong, joined once again by my co-host Cody Tanner. Cody, nice to see you on this wacky Wednesday. Big day for the Steelers and for us as well, getting another show in.
Yeah, it's a wacky Wednesday. It's a wacky week. We'll be recording 3 shows this week. We recorded Monday already. We're recording today, and we will record Friday after Pittsburgh takes on the Cleveland Browns tomorrow night in Cleveland. Exciting time to be a Steelers fan. It's also getting close to the 1st of December, which I think is when they start Hard Knocks, which goes through the entire AFC North, which is going to be very, very interesting to see what that looks like. But James, we got to preview this show, and we got some things happening, both for the Steelers currently on the roster and some things happening for Steelers that have been gone for a little while now. James, let's discuss.
Absolutely. The very first topic is one that I think is worthy of today's cracking the bottle moment here. Eric Rowe signed to the Steelers practice squad. Yes, this means for all of you who have been following along, Cody should not have to deal with the name Terrell Edmunds as a Pittsburgh Steeler again this season, barring major injury. Cheers to Eric Rowe being on the practice squad. I thought he was good as a Steeler last year. You're not the guy you want to be starting out there. But when he stepped in as a reserve, when he had to start, I thought he played pretty well. So I'm very happy to see him on the practice squad again.
Yeah. I mean, he had a forced fumble last year. He also had an interception. I am grateful for every moment that I get to not think of Terrell Edmunds. So hopefully this means he doesn't get back on the roster. I'm just not a fan. I don't care. I would rather have either one of his brothers, if I'm being honest. And that's saying a lot because one of his brothers is like a 5th string fullback, probably free agent right now.
He's probably eligible for the Hall of Fame. He's been gone for 5 years, you know.
It's probably true. But speaking of Hall of Fame, let's bounce around. Obviously, we're excited about Eric Rowe. I don't want to, push that too far, but he is on the practice squad. We'll see if he ever gets bumped up to active roster or anything like that. Hines Ward and James Harrison both have made semifinals lists for the Hall of Fame this year. That's very exciting. Kind of didn't expect it. I didn't expect both of them. I wouldn't have been shocked if, Harrison, in my opinion, has a little bit of an upper hand with that one play in the Super Bowl. That's legendary. Hines doesn't have any kind of play that sticks out. However, he has plays that stick out for bad reasons. He knocked Ed Reed into concussion protocol before that was a thing, and he broke Keith Rivers' jaw. I mean, the guy's a maniac blocker. But excited for both those guys. I would love to see both of them get into the Hall of Fame next year. That might even warrant a trip for me to go to Canton. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. James, there's other news with current players. Someone got an award that isn't Hall of Fame, but it's going to be soon enough, probably. Let's be real. Let's talk about that real quick.
If you're building a resume to get to the Hall of Fame, the first thing you got to do is start getting some awards. Chris Boswell with his 2nd AFC Player of the Week award for his performance last week versus the Ravens with 6 field goals made on 6 attempts. That's his 2nd time this season getting the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week award, and might put him in a good situation as long as he has another good game here against the Cleveland Browns to possibly be AFC Special Teams Player of the Month again. He already got that award once. I think he's got a shot. So
this is the 1 month he has that miss from 62, right? In this month,
I don't know. I think that was long enough ago that it wasn't on this month.
It might have been. I'm not sure. We can look into that. But I mean, either way, the guy's been automatic from pretty much any distance, and is showing that he's probably if not the best kicker actively in the NFL right now. And that's just huge for him. That is just absolutely huge for Chris Boswell, huge for the Steelers, huge for just fans of all around football. We'd like to see a score other than a kicked field goal in a game. Don't get me wrong. That's not always exciting to watch. However, that is just awesome news for him and well deserved for Chris Boswell. It is time to look into Cleveland Browns week. James, we're going to go over injury report and the Browns depth chart before sharing our 3 keys to success in winning tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime, as well as the score predictions. But James, real quick, let's not forget, we want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Edinburgh Hotel Bar. If you guys have not heard of or seen Edinburgh Hotel Bar, that is a restaurant here local in Edinburgh, Pennsylvania. They serve amazing food if you consider bar food. Some people don't consider bar food, but whatever, or food, but it's fantastic. I'm there almost all the time for Steelers games. They also have live music Friday nights, and it's just a nice place to go and take the family for a nice meal. So if you guys get a chance to check them out, they are awesome. With that being said, James, depth chart, injury report time. Here we go. I got the depth or the injury report, up here right now. Let's go ahead and pull this up. So obviously the Steelers here listed. There's a lot of guys resting. So Najee Harris, Michael Pruitt dealing with a knee injury, but also resting. Isaac Seumalo resting. Cameron Hayward, TJ Watt, Larry Ogunjobi, all these guys were resting. However, TJ did practice Tuesday, Wednesday. So did Najee. But Cameron Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi didn't practice all week. They were like taking their rest days. They are the contusion to the birth certificate guys. They're older. They're up there. Michael Pruitt did practice both days, Tuesday and Wednesday as well. And then you also have Corey Trice and Alex Highsmith both listed as out at this point. Alex Highsmith did not participate in practice all week and listed out. Corey Trice, in a promising note, was fully participating in practice all week, just listed as out more than likely for a precautionary thing, making sure he comes back from the IR ready to go. So those are your only 2 outs is Trice and Highsmith. Everyone else should be playing, and that is very exciting news if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the healthiest they've looked in a while. And very optimistic seeing Corey Trice possibly being right around the corner from a return. I feel very optimistic that we're going to see him on the following game after the Browns game. He'll have a week and a half more worth of recovery, and I think that bodes well for him coming back and right at the right time too. So that's what the Cincinnati Bengals is it after the Browns.
Yeah, and then the Browns again.
Yeah, so going against Joe Burrow, that's a good time to get Corey Trice back, I think. So,
absolutely.
Moving on to the Cleveland Browns injury situation. So starting off with Joel Bitonio, he has a pectoral injury, but he was full in practice, so he's going to be going. Linebacker Jordan Hicks has an elbow and triceps, was full. He'll go. Defensive tackle Maurice Hurst has a shoulder injury. He was full. He will go. Jerry Jeudy, the wide receiver, knee injury, full. He will go as well. Elijah Moore with a shoulder, full participant. He will go. Myles Garrett with a hip injury was limited in practice. He will also play. He just doesn't like to practice or play defense or put his hands up when the ball is thrown.
Yep.
David Njoku has a knee injury but was full, so he will go. Greg Newsome, the corner, has a shoulder injury but was full, so he will also go. Quarterback Dorian Thompson Robinson, or DTR as you might hear him referred to, has a right finger injury but was a full participant and will go. Tight end Jeff Swaim is in concussion protocol and is out. So we will not see their third string tight end. I don't know that significantly impacts anything on the offense.
We don't know if we would have saw him if he was healthy. So
I think maybe he's probably one of those wings on the field goal block unit is probably his main responsibility. Maybe even somebody that isn't typically lined up as an interior blocker on the punt unit. That's very common for third string tight ends to be like a guard or tackle in that situation. So look for that. Whoever, if he was in that, which I'm betting he probably was, look for Danny Smith to attack whoever it is that's filling his spot. If we get a block, I will not be surprised if it comes through wherever Jeff Swaim normally lines up. Denzel Ward, the cornerback, ribs and ankle, he was full. He will go. And then offensive tackle Jedrick Wells, typically the starting left tackle, but listed as the backup on their roster right now. He has a knee injury, was limited in practice, and has been ruled out for the game. So we will see the massive tackle DeJuan Jones, it looks like, at left tackle for them.
Yep.
Boy, that massive of an individual versus Nick Herbig's speed is a mismatch for Nick going up the arc. So
Yep, a little bit.
I think they would probably run that direction whenever Nick's out there. But if Nick's going pass rush against him, that's going to be a big advantage for Nick.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So DeJuan Jones, you're talking about him, 374 pounds, 6'8". He is a monster of an individual. But now, James, let's take a look at this depth chart. We'll look at the offense real quick. First off, we are looking at the quarterback room. Obviously, first, Jameis Winston, their starting quarterback. He's having himself an interesting year. DTR being the backup, and obviously he's dealing with the right finger injury. Bailey Zappi backing him up. Jameis Winston doesn't scare me.
He shouldn't. He should not.
No, he doesn't. But I know that he can shock people. I know that he can make plays. He's not. It's hit or miss with him. He can either come out and ball out for 4 quarters, or he can come out and drop a big fat deuce. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is here.
In last week, just as you are exactly saying right now, he threw for almost 400 yards.
Yep.
So they only got 14 points, but he threw for almost 400 yards. So the dude still has a very live arm, and he's not scared to throw it anywhere on the field. So continue. Sorry to interrupt you, Cody.
No, you're good. Running back room, dealing with Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford is going to be an interesting backfield. Nick Chubb obviously got that bad injury from Minkah Fitzpatrick's tackle last year that kept him out pretty much all year, if I'm not mistaken. So he is excited to come back. He's made comments about coming back and playing for the city of Cleveland, and getting a dub Thursday night would be big. The wide receiver room, Cedric Tillman, Elijah Moore, and Jerry Jeudy. Jeudy obviously being the speed guy. Elijah Moore isn't slow by any means. They are a very quick receiving core. They're just not that well known. I mean, outside of Jerry Jeudy, when he came out of college, was pretty well known. I think he got drafted to the Broncos or something. And I mean, he's already on his second team at this point. Don't sleep on any of them, but I'm not also scared of any of them, is where I'm sitting at. Tight end room, David Njoku and Jordan Atkins. David Njoku's a very, very capable tight end, not often used a whole lot. But I think he was overrated a few years ago. He's about where he should be, in my opinion, as far as threatening and how we're going to play him. Offensive tackle, DeJuan Jones, we talked about on that left side. Joel Bitonio, the left guard. Ethan Pochik, the center.
Yeah.
Pochik. Right guard, Wyatt Teller, and right tackle, Jack Conklin. This team has consistently, year after year, had a phenomenal offensive line that they just don't do much with. And I feel like they're still there. Like, they look bad on tape half the time, but the names that you see, they're big names. Like, they're good guys. I don't know what the heck the problem they're having this year is, but like when Baker was there, this was one of the top offensive line groups we played every year. So it's interesting to see how they have fallen.
And is the key word here, because every year this room is getting older and less talented, and they're not doing anything to reinforce it. DeJuan Jones was the big acquisition. He fell flat on his face between last year and early this year. Now he's starting at left tackle. Joel Bitonio is looking like a shell of his former self. Pochich is kind of an average starter at best. Wyatt Teller had one really good year and then went right back to being a regular guard that's not that great. And Jack Conklin, I don't know when the last time was he played a full season. He's injured every year, it seems like. I think what happened is they got old, and a few guys had one really good year and then came right back down to earth. And so what you have now is a line that's not even average anymore. For a long time, they were an elite run blocking unit and a subpar pass blocking unit. Now they don't seem to be very good at anything, and it's the same guys. So if they don't start addressing this in the NFL draft or in the offseason, they're going to be in a bad situation where they're one of the worst NFL or offenses out there.
Yeah. James, you want to take a look at this defense for us?
Yes, absolutely. So this is probably the highlight of this team here, starting off with, of course, everyone's favorite Cleveland Brown, Myles Garrett. Just kidding. Nobody likes him if you're a Steelers fan. Interior, they have Dalvin Tomlinson and Shelby Harris, who are two massive individuals, very good against the run. So running right up the middle, not always the best move against these guys. The other edge rusher, Ogba Okoronkwo, will be on whoever they deem the most talented offensive tackle, as Myles Garrett always switches sides to whoever he feels is the easiest matchup. So look for him to do that in this game. If he has no success on one side, he'll switch to the other one and try the other guy. The off-ball linebacker group, We've got Jordan Hicks and Mohammed Diabetes. Diabetes.
Diabetes.
So that's
Diabet. It's probably Diabet, honestly.
Diabet. We'll call it that. They're only listing 2 off-ball linebackers as starters, as if they run a nickel as their starting unit. So that's what they've got listed here. Backup off-ball linebackers, you might see the name Devin Bush there. So he is 1 play away from playing on a regular basis, and we would love to see that as guys who were very frustrated with the performance of Devin Bush on the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers when he played for them just 2 seasons ago.
And I'll speak to that just a little bit. I do feel like it was the knee injury he never came back from. He had that phenomenal rookie year, and then the sophomore year he had the knee injury, and he never fully recovered from that, and that was just very unfortunate for him.
And I felt like he lost his aggression in that too. His rookie season, he was very aggressive. His instincts were on point, and then when he came back from the injury, they just weren't. It was like he was playing timid out there and not as athletic as he was previous to it. But that happens sometimes with guys with knee injuries, So
it's as someone, James, you and I both have had knee injuries. We understand you take it easy sometimes, and there's sometimes where you make a step and it feels funky, and you're like, I don't want to do that again.
Mm-hmm. I've had 3 knee surgeries just to get to the point where I can make it through a day and not be in pain sometimes,
Yep.
So
we understand
I get it. Secondary, probably the strength of this defensive unit outside of the front 4. Cornerback room, Martin Emerson, Denzel Ward, and Greg Newsome II. All 3 of these guys actually pretty solid corners. So that's their strength, I think. Safety room, not as promising. Grant Delpit and Juan Thornhill, both guys that came into the league as high pedigree draft picks and have never really made it past being mediocre as far as starting safeties in the NFL. So the key here is don't underestimate the corner room. These guys do have talent. They do have speed. They do have hands. They can get interceptions. So Russ got to make sure he's careful this week, but he is pretty good about not taking too many risky chances.
Yeah. Last but not least, let's look at the special teams here. Corey Bourjin. Yeah, sure. The punter, Dustin Hopkins, the kicker, and then Pierre Strong Jr. listed as the kick returner, somebody that James very much wanted Pittsburgh to draft so he could buy a jersey that said Strong on the back. Jalen Darden, the punt returner, and Rex Sunahara, the long snapper, because long snappers matter. Just ask the Bengals.
Wasn't Rex somebody that was on our practice squad a couple years ago?
He could have been. I mean, I could probably find that out.
I feel like that's a real familiar name. Like Rex was on our practice squad a couple years back, or maybe on our 90 trying out for the team or something.
I can easily probably find that out here in just a second.
If they have that on his resume here. I'm checking career. Rex Sunahara.
No. Is this his rookie year?
No, I don't think it is.
He's out of West Virginia. He's only been in the league 1 year, so I doubt it.
He's 28, so I think he's never actually made a team previous to this.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Looking at the only things I see. Oh, there are more. Okay, Pittsburgh Steelers. Yep. 2022. 2021, he was assigned to the practice squad. He was waived in May 2022, signed in 2023, and then also waived in 2023. So he had a very, very short stint with us. He was with the Miami Dolphins from 2020 up until the end December of 2021 when we got him. And then he's bounced around with Cleveland since then.
Yeah, I feel like we had a lot of fun with his name when
we probably did. It sounds like something we would do.
There's a lot of Sunahara.
That it 100% sounds like something we would do. Now it is time for the 3 keys to success for Pittsburgh leaving Thursday night football from Cleveland with a win. And it is my turn to go first. James, number 1, I'm going back to it because I saw it happen last week and I want to say it. Win the turnover battle. That is so big. Obviously, Russell had his 1 interception last week. Again, I think part of that blame could go on. You could put on Darnell, but again, not fumbling the ball, not losing the ball, and our defense being just studs trying to get the ball and rip it and punch it and do whatever you have to do to get the ball on the ground and try to get a recovery. Win the turnover battle. Number 1, key to success. Number 2, I want to see 15 pass targets between both tight ends and both the number 2 wide receivers. So Mike Williams, George Pickens, and then Darnell and Pat Freiermuth. I want them to have at least 15 targets between that group of 4 because I'm tired of the checkdowns to the running backs. Don't get me wrong. I know they can make things happen. They make moves, but I want to see us getting those names involved. We talked about it a little bit last week. Pat had 2 targets. I think that was it. Darnell's getting targeted a little bit.
3.
Mike Wallace with 0 last week. So I'm hoping we get him involved. Mike Williams. Dear Lord, Mike Wallace.
But Mike Wallace also had 0, so that's true.
And then last but not least, I want TJ Watt to have 2 sacks in this game. I'm not saying, and that's a key to success, mostly because that means the other defensive players will not be getting as much double teams and pressures from them, and maybe they can do things. But I want TJ to have a game against Cleveland when everyone's going to be talking the Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. So TJ Watt having 2 sacks is going to be big for me in this game.
I like it. All 3 of those would be instrumental for a Pittsburgh win. On my side of things, my first key to success is for Pittsburgh to run for 150 plus yards on the ground. I want to see them reestablish this run game in dominance on the ground. And this is a good time to do it. It's a physical defensive front. So if you can run on these guys, you can run on dang near anyone. Number 2 key for me, I want 3+ interceptions in this game. Jameis Winston, known for being one of the most turnover-prone quarterbacks in the entire NFL.
He got LASIK.
Yeah, and he's still turning the ball over big time,
true.
buddy.
That's true.
And now instead of seeing 5 defenders in one spot, he sees 3 and still throws it to the defender. But this is definitely a guy you can take advantage of. He's got all the confidence in the world. He's going to take throws and take chances where maybe he shouldn't be trying to fit it into that spot. So if you're aggressive, you can absolutely get a bunch of interceptions off Jameis Winston. And then my number 3 and final key to success for beating the Cleveland Browns is double team Myles Garrett. If he doesn't get any momentum, if he's not getting tackles or sacks or registering anything on the scoreboard, he gets discouraged. He's not the guy that puts his hands up to bat the ball down when your quarterback throws it. He doesn't get a lot of tackles for loss either. He doesn't get a lot of forced fumbles or fumble recoveries. If he isn't getting the splash plays, he doesn't care. This is what Myles Garrett has been his entire career. So double team him, don't allow him to get involved, and you'll just be able to dominate because he'll stop trying once they get down by too much.
Yep. I will say this: he's thrown 3 interceptions on the season so far, all 3 coming in the Chargers game. So he has thrown 3 in one game already.
It's there.
So keep an eye on that.
And 30 in a season once.
Yeah, 30 in a season. That was crazy. So now it's time for score predictions. James, I'm going to go first again. My score prediction for this game is 30-21 Pittsburgh.
I like it.
I don't think it's going to be as defensive minded as the last game was. That's just more of a Ravens Pittsburgh thing. Cleveland hasn't quite put up the same defensive stats we've seen in the past few years. I think we can put a big 30 bomb on them.
I'm with you. I think big points for Pittsburgh as well in this game. I'm actually going 38-10. I'm looking for a blowout victory. And I think Russ explodes in this game and really comes back from 2 weeks in a row where it wasn't quite his best performances. I think he gets back on track in tomorrow's night's game, and we see an offensive explosion, maybe even special teams or defensive touchdowns.
Ooh, very interesting. Keep an eye on those things. If you guys want to share your 3 keys to success or your score predictions with us on social media or on YouTube, if you're in the comment section, please do that. We can't thank you guys enough for listening or watching. Remember, like and follow on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe, ring the bell on YouTube. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Don't forget the 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Make James very happy. And until next time, this is your host, James and Cody, signing off.
Peace.